Hello, how are you today? It is Christmas Eve, Westernized time. It's 23:43 p.m. in the morning, in the night, almost midnight. So I just want to see if this would work. It is reading a book from Napoleon Hill. I often read books from him. I really enjoy his books. They teach me a lot. And I'm going to get back into reading again and sorting out myself. So, Napoleon Hill, The Law of Success. All right, the first lesson, the mind. You can do it if you believe you can. This is a course on the fundamentalists of success. Success is very largely a matter of adjusting oneself to the every varying and changing environments of life in a spirit of harmony and poise. Harmony is based upon understanding of the forces constituting one's environment. Therefore, this course is in reality a blueprint that may be followed straight to success because it helps the student to interpret, understand, and make the most of these environmental forces of life. Before you begin reading The Law of Success, lessons you should know something of the history of the course. You should know exactly what the course promises to those who follow it until they have assimilated the laws of principles upon which it is based. You should know its limitations as well as its possibilities as an aid in your fight for a place in the world. From the viewpoint of the entertainment, the Law of Success course would be a poor second for the most any of the monthly periodicals of the snappy story variety which may be found upon the newsstands of today. The course has been created for the serious-minded person who devotes at least a portion of his or her time to the business of succeeding in life. The author of the Law of Success course has not intended to compete with those who write purely for the purpose of entertaining. The author's aim in preparing this course has been of a twofold nature, namely, first to help the earnest student find out what are his or her weaknesses, and secondly, to help create a definite plan for bridging those weaknesses. The most successful men and women on earth have had to correct certain weak spots in their personalities before they began to succeed. The most outstanding of these weaknesses, which stand between men and women and success, are intolerance, cupidity, greed, jealousy, suspicion, revenge, egoism, I've done that already, conceit, the tendency to reap where they have not sown, and the habit of spending more than they earn. All of these common enemies of mankind and many more not here mentioned are covered by the Law of Success course in such a manner that any person of reasonable intelligence may master them with but little effort or inconvenience. You should know at the very outset of the Law of Success course has long since passed through the experimental state that it already has to its credit a record of achievement that is worthy of a serious thought and analysis. You should know also that the Law of Success course has been examined and endorsed by some of the most practical minds of this generation. The Law of Success course was first used as a lecturer and was delivered by its author in practically every city and in many of the smaller localities throughout the United States over a period of more than 7 years. Perhaps you were one of the many hundreds of thousands of people who heard of this lecture. During these lectures, the author has assistants located in the audiences for the purpose of interpreting the reaction of those who heard the lecture, and in this manner he learned exactly what effect it had upon people. As a result of this study, the analysis, many changes were made. The first big victory was gained for the law of success philosophy when it was used by the author as the basis of a course with which 3,000 men and women were trained as a sales army. The majority of these people were without previous experience of any sort in the field of selling. Through this training, they were enabled to earn more than $1 million for themselves and paid the author $30,000 million for his services, covering a period of approximately 6 months. The individuals and small groups of salespeople who have found success through the aid of this course are too numerous to be mentioned in this introduction, but the number is large and the benefits that they derived from the course were definite. The law of success philosophy was brought to the attention of the late Don R. Mellett, former publisher of the Canton, Ohio Daily News, who formed a partnership with the author of the course and was preparing to resign as publisher of the Canton Daily News and take up the business management of the author's affairs. When he was assassinated on July the 16th, 1926, prior to his death, Mr. Mellett had made arrangements of Judge Herbert H. Gary, who was then chairman of the board of United States Steel Corporation. The president of the law of success was to every employee of the Steel Corporation at a total cost of something like $150 million. This plan was halted because of the Judge Gary's death, but it proves that the author of the law of success has produced an educational plan of an enduring nature. Judge Gary was eminently prepared to judge the value of such a course, and of course that he analysed the law of success philosophy and was preparing to invest a huge sum of $150 million in it was proof of the soundness of all that is said in behalf of the course. You observe in this general introduction of the course a few technical terms which may not be plain to you. Do not allow this to bother you. Make no attempt at first reading to understand the terms. They will be plain to you after you read the remainder of the course. This entire introduction is intended only as a background for the other 15 lessons of the course, and you should read it as such. You will not be examined on this introduction, but you should read it many times, as you will get from it at each reading a thought or an idea which you did not get on the previous readings. In this introduction, you will find a description of the newly discovered law of psychology, which is the very foundation stone of all outstanding personal achievements. This law has been referred to by the author as a mastermind, meaning a mind that is developed through the harmonious cooperation of two or more people who ally themselves for the purpose of accomplishing any given task. If you are engaged in a business of selling, you may profitably experiment with this law of the mastermind. In your daily work, it has been found that a group of 6 or 7 salespeople may use the law so effectively that their sales may be increased to unbelievable proportions. Life insurance is supposed to be the hardest thing on earth to sell. This ought not to be true with an established necessity such as life insurance, but it is. Despite this fact, a small group of men working for the Prudential Life Insurance Company, whose sales are mostly small policies, formed a little friendly group for the purpose of experimenting with the law of mastermind, with the results that every man in the group wrote more insurance during the first 3 months of the experiment than he had ever written in an entire year before. Okay, now I'm just testing out my reading voice, and I'd like to hear how it sounds, and I'm going to post this anyway, so yes, I'm going to hear it. Uprooted Artist, out. Bye.